So I got an article here from BountyOnTheComics.com. Netflix's Queen Cleopatra star Adele James dismisses Egyptian complaints about docuseries race swapping. Blackwashing isn't a thing, she says, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, there's been a lot of backlash from Egyptian nationals, including the country's government itself, towards Netflix's race swapping of their history for Queen Cleopatra. The docuseries star Adele James cares little for any of it, as she believes that all of it is based on nothing more than a mix of self-hatred and, of course, racism. James broke her silence during a recent appearance in the 79th episode of the Wayne Ayers podcast. She asked by the eponymous host for her opinion on the fact that people are mad about Cleopatra being blackwashed. She said, blackwashing isn't a thing, is it? At this point, a bit of technical difficulties caused some of James' response to be cut off, but when as her microphone kicked back in, she could be heard asserting, I find it sad that people are either so self-loathing or so threatened by the blackness that they feel the need to do that, to separate Egypt from the rest of the continent. This is just idiotic, because it's like, to deny blackwashing is just stupid. I mean, for one, here's an article from Bounty on the Comics themselves. They've got an article about every single redheaded comic book character that has been race swapped. They even have it in video form. Actually, there's part 2 of the video form. And it goes on, and it has an entire thing, but it has like pictures with it and stuff. I'll link this in the description box if you want to read it for yourself. But it is a very, very, very long list, as you can see. You know, it's like I said, I won't even show the whole thing because we could be here for 5 minutes just going over that shit. I mean, there's a lot. Here's kind of a graph that people had made. This is one of the, I think, the original graphs. And of course, you know, some people complain. They talk about, well, you know, hey, what about you got a character who's redhead, but they're played still by a white person, but they've made them brown haired or whatever. And it's like, you know, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that this is the only thing that ever happens. They change shit a lot in various things. You got, I mean, you know, you got Little Orphan Annie, you got Iris West, you got Jimmy Olsen, and you go right down the list. Everything there's Ariel, of course, and Mary Jane. There's, you know, Starfire and stuff. And some of these you're like, well, you know, they may not fit exactly. The other ones, it's a little debatable. But anyway, it just goes on, and it, you know, has some, you know, there's, you know, Jamie Foxx, and you know, you've had some named people and stuff. And you could find complaints with this, complain about, you know, everything. But anyway, but to deny that blackwashing isn't a thing, it's just idiotic, you know. And she goes on to talk about there's absolutely a lot of people saying very horrible things, but it definitely wasn't everyone. I think that's so important to remember that, like, you know, which number one, okay, you're looking at this. This is supposed to be back in Egypt. It's like these are the hairstyles they were wearing. You know, I mean, hey, maybe they found something I hadn't seen. But anyway, and it goes on and talks, and I'll link this in the description box if you can read it for yourself. But basically, it's just Egyptian people are complaining that this is bullshit. Cleopatra did not look like that. We know that for a fact. You know, if you want to make some of the other people black and stuff, some of the people around her and everything, whatever. But Cleopatra was not black. They show a picture of her down here. That's basically Cleopatra right there. You know, which is why some people brought up the whole ginger side thing, because, you know, that looks reddish. But anyway, it's a posthumous painted portrait of Cleopatra, 7th of Potomac, Egypt, from Roman Herculaneum, made during the 1st century AD, before the destruction of Herculaneum by the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius. That is a portrait of Queen Cleopatra. That is not this woman here. It's got nothing to do with, oh, she's a terrible actress. It's got nothing to do with she's ugly. No, I think she's, you know, physically, I think she's attractive. The personality-wise, I'm not so sure about that, because, like, if you're sitting there trying to say, well, blackwashing isn't a thing, get out of here with that. That's just stupid. Like I said, you can look at this, you can look at this. Like I said, I'll link all this stuff in the description box. You can read it for yourself, but it's just stupid. It's like, come on, you can't be denying reality like that. But anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.